Hello again and welcome to Dubai Fafa. Welcome to Dubai Fafa, and in commemoration of the World Jollof Rice Day, I'm actually going to be making a smoky jollof rice recipe. Now, I actually use the residue of the chorizo, the way they say it, oil when I actually bake the chorizo. And that's exactly what I'll be using for my recipe today. You can use any oils, your granite oil or coconut oil. Yeah, let's go ahead. So add 3 tablespoonfuls of the chorizo oil or granite oil or coconut oil if you wish, and add 1 slice banana shallots and fry gently for about 3 minutes. The whole idea of a recipe is the fact that you can add your own little twist to it as well. So if you don't actually have access to the banana shallots, that shouldn't stop you. You can use your normal white or red onions. It doesn't matter. The reason why I do prefer the shallots, it actually has a sweeter taste and a distinctive taste, which I prefer, but it shouldn't stop you. Just use any onions that you actually have access to. So now that this has been fried for 3 minutes and the infusion is taking place, I'm just going to add 1 diced green chili to it. And I'm going to fry for further 2 minutes, yet again on a medium heat. And the reason I always talk about medium heat is I want the flavors to incorporate naturally. I want it to be enhanced. If you actually cook on a high heat, it just burns. And you're not allowing the normal marriage of flavors. And of course, I'll have to add my little African twist. I'm adding some grains of saline to it, and that gives us some almost aromatic taste to it. You can actually use your guinea peppers, not a problem at all. Yet again, as I always explained, it's all about, adding your own little twist to it as you go along as well. So what I've done is I've actually blended 700 grams of fresh tomatoes, 175 grams of tomato puree, 2 large red peppers, and also 30 grams of ginger, a clove of garlic, and a habanero chili. Now with the habanero chili, you don't necessarily need to use the whole chili. You can cut it in half, depending on how spicy you actually want your jollof to be. Now, secondly, I would actually normally fry the tomato puree separately. So once I've actually fried the onions and the chili in the oil for a bit, then I actually add the tomato puree and cook gently for about 4 to 5 minutes. This is it's time consuming, but on this recipe, I've actually omitted that because I've actually blended everything together. So it makes it easier. It makes my life easier as well. Now, at this stage, I'm actually not going to add any salt. And the reason is I want the sauce to cook. I want all the flavors and everything to be there first before I add the salt. And I add the salt when the rice is in the sauce. Okay? So here we go. Now, I actually want that smoky taste, so I've actually added about a teaspoonful of the smoked paprika, which you can get from most shops anyway. And it was going to add that little smoky taste to this jollof, which is what I really do like. It's all about the smokiness, and also because I'm going to actually let it burn a little bit, and it's got that clay pot going on. It's going to be like nice and smoky and intense, and yeah, it's all about the flavor. Now, to me, I actually like to slow cook my sauce so it thickens and that the flavors are enhanced. At this stage, I mean, most people would just add the rice, but I don't want that. I want to intensify all the natural flavors. I want it to be in an almost marmalade way. So when I add the rice to it, it's going to absorb that sweetness of every bit of the ingredient that I've actually added to this dish. And this is it. You can see that's just perfect. I'm happy with this. I actually tried a jollof rice recipe whereby I've actually darkened the sauce, and I'll tell you what, that flavor was just amazing. Oh, yeah. So now the trick that I use actually in making the jollof rice is with the rice. I prefer to use basmati rice, but I've also tried jasmine rice, and it's actually quite nice. I do like that as well. So I've just got about 280 grams of basmati rice, and I'm just gonna wash it till the water runs clear. And then to that, I'm actually just going to soak it for about 10 to 15 minutes. And the reason why I'm actually doing that is to actually let the rice absorb some of the water, because I'm going to be frying the rice in the sauce for a while. So I want the rice to actually just take on every flavor. So this is my little trick. And when you soak it as well, it means that it takes a lot of the starch away. So which means that it's easier to cook. It cuts your cooking time in half. And that's what I want. So that's just perfect now. And I think the water is clear enough. And I'm going to be adding that to my tomato sauce now. So now that I've soaked the rice in water, what I'm now going to do is actually fry the rice till the water evaporates. And instead, the rice actually absorbs the flavor of the sauce. That's my little secret and trick to this. Now at this stage, you can add your extra herbs if you wish, but I've actually added that smokiness to it, so I don't want to actually spoil it, but you can add some rosemary, you can add thyme, you can, be adventurous. You can be creative. It's food. It's what you want. And as the flavors that you want, you should actually be adventurous. You should treat yourself to that. That's a must. Yeah, you can add your salt at this stage and then stir. Now the rice actually looks perfect because it has absorbed the sauce, and this will be the time now to actually add my stock. Now you can use any stock that you do prefer. I have got a chicken stock on my blog, which is ndudubaifaffa.blogspot.com, and that would help. On this occasion, I'm actually using the residue of my blender, so the tomato, ginger, garlic sort of blend that I actually did earlier for the jollof is what I've just rinsed, and I'm actually just adding about 237 milliliters, which is about a cup of water to it, and I'm just going to actually mix it. And I can see this is working perfectly because yet again I'm actually going to allow this rice to cook in its own steam. And I've taken that whole time to intensify the flavors in that sauce. I'm not just going to be pouring lots of water to it to dilute that. No, your hard work has to pay off. So I'm going to actually scrunch up a baking paper. I prefer to use that than anything else. And I'm going to cover the rice with this and steam this perfectly. The reason why I've scrunched up so it covers every corner, and I want this rice to cook in its own steam and its juices. I want to intensify my flavors. So my rice has actually been cooking for about 15 minutes, and I'm just going to use a fork because I don't want to break any of the rice and anything, and just check on the texture. So I'm actually just, teasing it and just going through it, and I think, yes, I can see this is working well. So I'm just going to actually put the baking paper back on and cover this, and I'm going to cook it for a further 10 minutes, and then I'll check on it again because I want to make sure that I'm turning it and it's every grain of rice is cooking perfectly. So I'm actually going to place the baking paper back on and cook it for another 10 to 15 minutes, and it should be perfect. I really can't wait for this. Now you have to enjoy this World Jollof Day. You've got to make this. You've got to make it with your own twist as well and post it. Checking it again, and look at that after 10 minutes. Yeah, it's still being teased, and I like the fact that eyi mako mako. Minjile kume 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 una. Oh, daka. I'll put it back on for another 5 to 6 minutes and it should be ready. And I think, let's see. Miniano, have you there? Yes, it rocked.